Okay, let's introduce a new lens, and also let's get serious about something that's really stupid. And by stupid, I mean really stupid. There's a lens that a lot of people buy, and of course it's $1,600 new. It's the 85mm f1.4 Nikkor G series. Now this is the D series f1.4. Now this lens, new, although it's been discontinued, can still be had new for about $1,400, used for about $750, $800, sometimes as cheap as $650. This is a Nikon Sharpest, although of course it's plastic. It is autofocus, of course, like the D series is. That's the 85mm f1.8 G series Nikkor, new, $600. You really don't find them used very often, well, to a certain degree. Now, if you want to go portrait route on the cheap, and they're perfectly fine. We have a D and a pre-D series f1.8 D series. You can grab these for about $300 or $400. Now this is assuming that you actually have a business, or if you're serious about your portrait photography. Let's have a discussion. I included this one, I started to show it to you from the prior video, where it's completely assembled. This is also an 85mm. But of course it's manual focus and a specialty art lens. It's not something that you'd use for, studio portraiture, but this is it all back together again. I just thought I'd throw that in there since, hey, why not? It's an 85mm. Сделано в Красногорск, Россия. Means made in Krasnogorsk, Russia. Also another cheap option, I've talked about this lens more than a few times, 85mm f2 AIS lens, AI or AIS, either one. It's an older manual focus lens. Cheap, valid, built like a tank, but we're talking about someone that's serious about portraiture here. Want a lens that's going to last a lifetime. Now, the 85mm G series f1.8, how soon is the drive motor going to go out on it? Who knows? I'd rather have something that's going to last the rest of my life, but that lens certainly is not, even if it's taken perfectly good care of. Something's going to burn out on it. Is it sharp? It's really sharp. It's also sharper than the f1.4 G series. Now we're going to talk about f1.4s, and this is a really, really stupid mistake, and I'm really surprised that nobody's talking about this. I'm going to start getting into some of my Zeiss lens reviews. I've got 5 Zeiss lenses. I've used all of them but 2 in testing. I mean, beyond what I actually own, all of the current production Zeiss lenses. Big mistake. So, used on the 85mm f1.4 D series, $800, $750. New, you still find them for $1,200. Ridiculous. Awesome lens. Good bokeh, not extremely sharp. Sharp enough. G series. G series f1.4, I've had the lens, I've had 2 of them actually, I don't have it anymore. But the 1.8 is sharper, and that lens is $1,600. It's insanely, absurdly, same construction as the G series f1.8, plastic body, indicative of current G series Nikkors. Now this Zeiss, this is the Planar 85mm f1.4. Let's introduce a new lens here and talk about why all these Nikkor lenses are stupid by comparison, especially compared against the supposed top dog, the 85mm f1.4 G series for $1,600. This lens new, you can find these lenses used, by the way, for about $800, $880. New, I think current price, it's on sale for $1,080. This is the f1.4 Carl Zeiss Planar. It is manual focus. It is built like a tank. It is everything that you would call the big brother of the Voigtlanders. It's a brass lens, anodized, incredibly heavy. It is a manual focus lens, but who cares when it comes to studio and portrait work? If you don't have the skills to manually focus, you got an issue. This is the lens that's going to last multiple lifetimes. This lens is, let's get to the really important part here, okay? This lens compared to the $1,600 f1.4 Nikkor G series, it's built like a tank. It's got better bokeh, better color saturation, better depth, better rendition, made far, far better, and a damn lot cheaper. So you got a far superior lens with far better bokeh, far better constructed, far better color saturation, far better depth and rendition, and the important part that a lot of people care the most about, although it's not number one on my list, it is on most people, it is damn sharp. It will blow the piss out of every Nikkor lens here in 85mm, including the 85mm f1.4. It'll blow the hell out of the 85mm f1.4. Now the 85mm f1.8 is sharper than the 85mm f1.4 G series. So that's the reason I have it, and I don't have an 85mm f1.4 anymore. I've had two of them, but I got them as a deal. Someone desperate for cash, and I sold them off. The last one I had was like a year and a half ago. So if you want these two premium portrait lens for studio or whatever, if you got a problem with manual focus, the only thing I can tell you is learn. Okay? You don't really have an issue with the portraiture, you know, whether it's indoors or outdoors, studio or out in the field. I mean, you're not shooting racehorses rounding the bend, okay, with a portrait lens, okay? So you've got no bitch when it comes to manual focus on this lens. This lens has only got two downsides, and the downsides aren't anything. If this lens were a person, it would be so fat it would make me look anorexic by comparison. This lens is insanely heavy. It's not heavy. It's not very heavy. It's insanely heavy. It is just absolute max quality. It is the tits. I'd actually call it super tits. Being funny about something that's serious. But in the sharpness will blow the hell out of all of these, including the 1.4, color rendition, depth, saturation, build quality, and the price, for God's sakes! You know, $16.99, whatever, $1,700 for the G Series f1.4. Right now, this one, currently new price, is $1,080. And you can find them used for about $880. Sometimes as cheap as $780, but usually about $850 or so. You know, that is half as much, a hair less than half as much as a brand new, inferior f1.4 G Series 85mm Nikkor. You're crazy. If you're going to complain about manual focus on a portrait, you're not shooting race cars going around a track. You're not shooting horses and bicyclists with this. Some people do that with their 85mm. This is a portrait lens, okay? It is what it is, and that's what it's designed for. You're never going to have forward compatibility issues with autofocus, because there ain't no autofocus, obviously. And another downside, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, I've still got the Zeiss lens cap for this. This is one issue that all Carl Zeiss lens owners complain about, is that you'd like to meet the person that designed the lens cap for Carl Zeiss and just slap the piss out of them, because it's stupid. It's impossible to grab in either side or center pinch. It's just slippery and horrible, but who gives a damn about that? You know, just throw a regular freaking Nikon lens cap on it. The lens hood, most people have actually never seen an ultra high quality lens hood like this. It's a tri-ring design. You actually have the lens hood, you have the insert, and then you have the back plate. And the way it actually attaches to the lens, how secure it actually locks into place, and also the fact that it's felt lined. This is what we call a supreme lens hood instead of the plastic crap that is injection spit out by slave labor in China. Well, we know that's a fact, okay? So this lens, you think, well, Carl Zeiss, you know, that's an expensive lens, but, you know, are you taking portrait? I mean, how seriously do you take your portraiture, and or are you making money at it? If you are, then not only can you justify the purchase of this lens, but realistically, this lens is damn cheap compared to the Nikkors. Nikon never made anything as decent quality as this. Okay, this has got a lens. If you don't drop it or lose it or have it stolen, it's going to far outlive you. Far, far. Like I said, it's only got one real downside, and that is it's insanely heavy. But it just reeks. It absolutely reeks of quality, and it spits out quality. And the sharpness on it is absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible. It is untouchable. Period. It is untouchable. And actually, for what it is, its sharpness and its color rendition and its saturation and depth, it blows the piss out of everything else, and it is underpriced. Underpriced. Okay? There's a huge oh, Carl Zeiss lenses, I can't afford that crap. Oh, that's the expensive stuff. Well, yeah, sometimes that's the case, but comparing to the Nicors, this lens is new. If you want to get the the f1.8 G series, which is $600 new, say, $500 more than that, another 80% on top of the cost of this lens, you're going to get a far superior lens, far sharper. The bokeh on it blows. Important thing, obviously, in portraiture, especially an 85mm portraiture lens like this, is that the bokeh is stunning. Not that it's sharper, far sharper than all of these, including the 1.4G, but the bokeh will just blow you right on your ass. So, there's actually one thing that pisses me off about 85mm portraiture. That there's like, well, that's, people look at this lens like it's it's a Rolls. Well, that's an expensive lens. I can't afford that. Well, it's half as much as used anyway. It's half as much as the 1.4, and it's only $1,100. The G series is nowhere near as good as this, and it's $1,600. So you have to be realistic here and to put it in the proper spectrum of comparison between everything that there is, and it's underpriced. And I wouldn't be surprised if Carl Zeiss raised the price on this lens in the future. I shouldn't say that they should, but considering what it really is an underpriced lens. So this is the exquisite lens. It's the tits. It's the sharpest. It's the best color saturation, best bokeh, best construction by 1,000 miles. This is on another planet as far as how it's constructed. Okay, you can hand this to a blind person, they go, "Oh crap, oh shit, that's high quality." That's no exaggeration. So. But if you have an issue with a heavy lens, then you're a puss anyway. So that isn't an issue, okay? Secondly, if you have an issue with manual focus, then you're still a puss, because it's a studio lens. You're not shooting racehorses coming around the corner, okay? You don't need autofocus. You're gonna have to start learning how to manual focus with a high quality lens, be it the Voigtlander or the Carl Zeiss, or maybe you don't want to. Maybe you're just a lazy douche. That may be the case, but if you're serious about it, then I find it incredibly improbable and insanely unlikely that that is the case with you. So, anyway, this is my highest recommendation and the top value on an underpriced lens that blows the piss out of everything else, bar none. And that is the 85mm f1.4 Planar Carl Zeiss. And that is that. And there's no argument or dispute about this. I mean, you can't say, no, you're wrong, or I think different. In this case, I'm right and you're wrong, and that's the end of the story. There is no argument on this particular video. Okay? Got it. Great. If you like this video, drop me a buck or two. Tell me you jump off a cliff. Whatever makes you most happy. Another video from Younger Photographer. Catch you later. Make another video in a few.